Okay, welcome to update number 5. We do have a special guest this week. Big special guest. It took a lot of work to book this one. Giles Harger. You might not recognize him because he's got new look.
Yep, trying to grow out a beard here.
Yeah,
So.
nice. You can keep it like for a
Um,
while.
yeah, well, I'm gonna see like how it kind of looks, after a little while, and if I like it, I'll keep it, and if not,
Nice.
like I'll shave it off. So.
Yes. I don't think I'm gonna try. I don't think anyone wants to see me with a beard. Now, would you shave it if we got like 50 likes on this video?
Probably.
We've only gotten like 20 likes before, so it's not
Yeah.
not likely. But if we got 50, you would.
Probably.
See, this guy supports the brand right here. He's got the hoodie on,
Yep.
right?
As you can see.
Looks good. Yeah.
Yep.
We had a lot of people that were interested in that, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll be rocking those next weekend. This weekend. Oh man. So it's coming right up.
Yep.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna recap. Oh, yeah, so 50 likes, and Giles will shave his beard. But if you don't want him to shave it, don't like the video, I guess. So I guess we'll let the audience let the audience decide.
Well, I was just thinking, like, we could actually have, like, for 50 likes, I'll shave it, but if we have more comments than likes, I'll keep it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you've given a lot of work to do.
Well,
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. You got a little task.
Yep.
So let's talk about the preliminaries that were last weekend.
Mhm.
I want to start out by saying that it was a huge success. I felt like,
Mhm.
and it really had my comment overall was it felt like the main Ultimate Frisbee Classic because it was all the local teams and it had a very local feel and of course we all know each other. We love our out of state teams.
Right.
What about you? What was your takeaways? Your general takeaways?
Well, I think just looking back at just the, Saturday night and Friday night, looking at some of the highlights, I honestly have a very good feeling about this year because I think with just the teams coalescing, well, I guess coalescing would be the word, but basically just seeing the new teams come together
Mhm.
and having that chemistry and everything, and just seeing like just the end results of every game. I mean, I think this is probably going to be the best tournament yet that we've ever had, just because you have, like I said, we have a number of new teams joining us, and then we have familiar players.
Mhm.
So I think with just the overall results of the games, it's probably going to shape up to be probably the best tournament that we've ever had.
Can't argue with you. I totally agree. Totally agree. And you found yourself on a new squad this year.
Yeah, I did.
I felt like you fit right in with the Land Sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about that. You guys played on Saturday. So Friday we had all Southern Division teams. Oh, and remember, here's my 8th grade project in the background here. If you haven't get a chance to see it, I worked on it very hard. Arts and crafts. I did very good. But we'll refer to that here and there. But this is oh boy. There we go. Thank you, Giles. On Friday night, we had all 4 Southern Division teams were in action, and we're not going to go through every game. We know that you know the results, but I would say Young and the rest. Were you there Friday night?
I was not.
You were
there
not.
Friday.
Okay, or maybe you followed along online. I don't know.
Yeah.
Young and the rest of us had a great night. They won both their games, and then of course there was an epic matchup between Up in the Air and Slip Discs. That went down to the very last minute. There's a video that we posted of it. That was a great finish. And the Field Invaders, Kyle Burton's team, they were a little undermanned that night. Not everyone was able to show up. Excuse me.
Mhm.
But we expect them to be fully staffed
Yes.
for the next. So that division is wide open, and I think that there's some teams that could, give the next division up a challenge too. So I thought that was a great night. The crowd was awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and it produced one amazing game, and I'm sure we'll have some other ones. So then on Saturday we had 6 teams in action.
Mm-hmm.
Couple notable games. The first one was, man, and it's too bad Ethan Small isn't here. He was gonna be, but
Yeah.
your former teammate.
Yep.
But the first game was his team, Windchill,
Mm-hmm.
versus Tortilla Tossers. Now we didn't really know much about Tortilla Tossers. You knew a little bit because some were the Lawn Monsters last year.
Yep.
But that ended up being a real close game.
Mm-hmm.
We we saw some of the highlights in that, but Winchell came away with the win. And then another notable game that day was Winchell and Swarm.
Mm-hmm.
They gave us everything we could handle.
Yeah.
We ended up pulling away at the end. But it was a very well fought game. And then Land Sharks had 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
One against the Saw Guerreras.
Yes.
But the first game you guys lost against Frisbees. So
yeah.
What were your thoughts on those? Maybe start with the first one. What did you think?
Well, the Frisbee, like the game against the Frisbees, I mean, for those that haven't watched that game yet, I would definitely say take a look at the highlights because the Frisbees just came out strong. Like they are currently right now, as we speak, undefeated in the prelims, 2-0. And
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. So if you're watching this before you watch the game, sorry, but I honestly, my thoughts on the Frisbees is they are they're ready, like they're primed and ready to do some damage and basically go all the way if they're able to do that because they have a ton of great players on that team and they play together for a long time, so that goes to show how far they've come. So I think the sky's the limit for them.
Yeah.
So playing against them, I mean, that was already really tough because it was the first time that I was on the Land Sharks, so I was still trying to get used to how Ethan Merrill plays as well as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that even though we lost by a lot, I know like towards the end of the game we started cohesing together. We started
build a little momentum.
Yeah,
I noticed that. Yeah,
momentum too. So even though we lost by a lot, I was thinking like, okay, I feel really good about where we were at from the second half of the game to the end.
Yeah,
going into our next game against the Cape Saw Guerreras.
You won't be the only team that loses to the Frisbees this year. They're a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Then you guys kind of roles were reversed against Saw Guerreras. You guys had a very good game. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys got into a good rhythm that game. And
yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now I would say we'll talk about this weekend in a minute, but we'll finish up. The last game of the day was Frisbees versus Swarm.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this battle time and time again. Now, from my standpoint, it was an odd game. It's we play them so much that it almost doesn't even feel like a real game sometimes. But we each started out terrible. I don't know if you've seen some of the highlights, but it was turnovers. But we were able to get out to a little bit of a lead on them.
Yep.
And then there was one big play with it was very similar play if we've seen in the past where Jacobs tipped it on a long pass, and then Jake Pereira ran it out and scored. And that kind of, from our standpoint, really changed the momentum of the game.
Yeah.
But what were your takeaways from that, watching those two?
First off, that was an exciting game because of just how the both of you guys were playing on a very similar level. And I gotta hand it to Jake Pereira, which, spoiler alert, Jake Pereira is my brother-in-law, so just
all right, so
just pointing that out there.
So you have the authority to say something, if you want to be critical, you can, because
yes,
he's your family.
Yes, exactly.
We know you won't do that.
I love you, Jake. Anyway, but
yeah, he was a beast that game.
But no, seeing that play though, I mean, that was an incredible play.
Yeah,
because I wasn't sure when the frisbee was hit. I wasn't sure if it was just going to go sail out of bounds or if it was going to just fall to the ground. No one was going to catch it.
Yeah.
But Jake Pereira, being the player that he is, just went for it, caught it in the end zone, and I'm just like,
yeah,
wow.
He never gave up on the play.
Right.
And that it was just such an odd play because Caleb made a great defensive play, and it was one of the, we don't have it on video unfortunately, but he tipped it in a way so that it was able to stay spinning and flat. So I thought there was no way Jake was going to get to it, but man, he just ran it down, and it was just like, that was a backbreaker. Like, we didn't really recover from that.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe we'll get a chance to face them again. I don't know, but it wasn't the cleanest of games. I think they would probably agree. It wasn't the cleanest of games, but it was a battle. We are going to talk to somebody on the Frisbees about this game, see their thoughts. So I'm going to give Casey Stokes a call, see what he has to say about that game. Mic up.
Hello.
Hey, Casey, what's up? It's Ben, and we're recording the Frisbee update. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Giles is here too. So we were just talking about the Frisbees and Swarm game, and the play we were talking about was when Jake ran down after Caleb tipped it, and he made that great diving play. But I kind of think that's kind of where the game changed a little bit. But what were your thoughts about the game? How did you guys feel about that game?
Man, my thoughts are pretty funny because that early on that game, I was just not feeling it for some reason. I was making a bunch of like forced and bad passes personally. So
Yeah,
we definitely have a good team. Like I'm proud of our team where sometimes that can happen, and a lot of our other players can pick up on some of that slack. But,
yeah,
overall, the game was really solid. I love playing against you guys. I think you guys have been, for me personally, I have always watched like you and Caleb as players and tried to study from you guys and tried to build myself up in a better way, I guess, just personally. So
yeah.
I don't know. Overall, game goes good.
Yeah. Giles and I were saying that like the beginning of the game, I think was just sloppy all around both teams. Yeah. But I will say that's like, I noticed with you guys can have a bad start now and overcome it. I think in the past you had a hard time for whatever reason, but now it's just like you shake it off and then, there's a big play and you guys just move on and kind of, in the end, I think the final score was a little bit, didn't reflect how close the game felt because you guys pulled away at the end. But it was a good game. I think we might, who knows, we might face you guys again.
That would definitely be fun.
So you guys, your first game this Saturday is against High Flyers Club. You haven't played them before. How are you guys feeling going into that game? What's the talk amongst the beasts?
I don't think we have talked about it like too much, but honestly, it's a team we've never played against. I think that can kind of get to our nerves a little bit just because we don't have too much of a strategy other than watching some of the gameplay and what we've heard from like teams like you or whatever, where I think you've mentioned that they kind of played like us when we were younger or how we first started off. Very athletic, but yeah, we're overall. I'm personally excited about it. I really am. I've wanted to play against them. I think I've also wanted to try playing against Lag at one point. So you never know. We'll see how that all unfolds. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It's a shame because our game against Wicked High Mileage will be happening at the same time as when you guys play High Flyers. So I won't personally get to see it. But well, we're looking forward to it. Thanks for giving us your thoughts. I guess we will see you this weekend.
For sure.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
So, there it is. Great points by him about looking up to me and Caleb as players. I thought that was well put. Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So, anyways, after all those games between Friday and Saturday, there really wasn't too much change in the ranking. I think two slight changes were Up in the Air moved up from Field Invaders, and then Tortilla Tossers moved ahead of Saw Guerreras. But other than that, not much change. Mm-hmm. So looking forward now to this weekend. Mm-hmm. Friday night, all the out-of-state teams are coming in.
Yep.
So I don't know if you'll be there or not. But
I probably won't be there Friday, but
yeah.
I know that I'll be there like early Saturday afternoon, since that's when we have another round of the prelims.
Yeah. The big game I'm looking forward to that night is High Flyers versus Lag. Yeah. And you can see why on the board, because Lag is number 1 mid-coast right now, and High Flyers is number 4 mountain. So they're right next to each other. And they never played, at least in our tournament before. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you have any watched them last year, maybe if you had a chance. Would you have any thought at all? Any inkling?
Well, I mean, if I had to choose right now who I think would probably win against in that game, whether it's the High Flyers Club or LAG, I would probably have to say High Flyers.
Okay.
Because last year, if anything is an indicator from last year, the High Flyers Club were a very competitive team.
Yep.
And they played hard, they played fast, and I don't know if they played against the Frisbees or you guys last year.
We played them in like a consolation game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically just like looking at what their roster was last year.
Yeah.
I think that if they still have the core of their players
They do.
going into this year, then I think High Flyers could try to beat LAG. But I know that lag is obviously not a slouch either because
No, they won their division last year.
yeah. So,
I did get some inside information that High Flyers might be without two of their really good players for the Friday night game. They'll be coming Saturday. So that might have an impact on that game.
Mhm.
But they could face each other again because in the playoff round, those positions, Midcoast 1, Mountain 4, they would face off in a playoff matchup. So if they happen to be in those positions going into the playoff round on Saturday, they could play again. So
yeah.
anyways, that's the game I'm kind of looking at for Friday night.
Mhm.
I think we'll record that one and put it on YouTube, the full game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then Saturday is Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You guys will get a
Yeah.
chance to play.
Yep.
LAG, as you call them.
Yeah, well,
Lag.
I could say lag LAG, but you guys know what I mean.
We
So-
do know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that you guys will get your chance against them too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, any closing thoughts on the preview, looking ahead to the big day? What are your any things you're honing in on? Anything that you've got your eyes focused on?
Well,
Any analysis?
well, any analysis? Well, I don't know if I don't think this has ever happened before, and I hope I'm not saying this too soon, but I know like the last couple of tournaments that I played in, going back to 2019 when when we changed the name from Free Agents to Airbenders, we won our first division title together, and then 2022 when we only had 3 divisions, we did it again.
Yep.
So I think, honestly, looking at the way that our team has been coming together, even though it's the Land Sharks, I feel like there's not really much difference in the players themselves because I'm still playing with young people. I'm still playing with those that have played in the tournaments before.
Yeah.
So I don't really see too much of a difference between the Airbenders and Land Sharks because they're very similar in skill and athletic ability and things like that. So I definitely think we have every single confidence in the world to.
And you bring the winning pedigree, the Land Sharks.
That's
you got
true.
you got the titles on the shelf.
Yes.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am thoroughly excited.
Yeah.
I think everything that can be said has been said. So at this point, I'm just going to move on to just a few reminders for the tournament itself. So this year we have 16 teams. Last year we only had 12.
Mhm.
So there's going to be a lot of people at the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So this information is for Saturday. We can arrive as early as 11 o'clock. Don't come any earlier than that, please, because there is an event at the pitch that morning.
Okay.
But if you'd like to come starting at 11, you can. Now, because of the amount of people coming, we're assigning bench areas all around the perimeter of the field for teams.
Okay.
So what we'd like is all equipment, everything basically except your food supplies and drinks that aren't water, you can bring out there and put in your bench area, leave it there. We don't want to fill the lounge area because that turned into a locker room last year. We want that area for people to sit and enjoy. So do not leave your stuff in that entryway. Bring it to the bench area, which will be clearly marked.
Yeah.
All your food, Some teams have brought meals in the past or whatever you have for food. Bring it into the rooms upstairs. There's especially one big room, the kitchen room. Bring your food up there. Eat your food up there. Your non-water drinks store up there. There will be plenty of time in between games for you to eat, enjoy. Because you have more teams, there'll be a little bit more of a waiting time in between games. So please do that. The team areas are not those rooms. Those are just for eating, lounging, etc. So all the teams can congregate in their assigned areas. That's what we'd like. And I guess just one further reminder: we cannot have food or drinks other than water on the field because it spills. It's very difficult for them to clean it. So they have a lot of trust in us at the pitch, and we don't want to abuse that. So what I would say is, if you see something, say something. If you see somebody with an iced coffee walking across the field, hey, you can't have that out there. Try to help us out with that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben, remember what you said to me when I had my team?
Yeah, she tried bringing one out last week.
Ben looked at me and he was like, I can't even be seen with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No. So we
So yeah.
Yeah.
If you see someone with something, tell them you don't even want to be seen with them until they get rid of it.
yeah. No, so yeah.
Extreme, but
yeah.
okay.
We gotta do our part. If we want to keep having a good reputation with the people at the pitch, we want to take care of the place. So, because this is by far the biggest event that happens at that building all year long.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we want to keep it, have our image go good. So
Yeah.
go
Could I
ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, for I know that we're playing a sport, but we wouldn't treat this any different if it was like at a convention or an assembly, because if the City of Augusta trusts us with taking care of the Civic Center at the end of the assembly or convention or whatever it is, I mean, we should treat it basically in the same way. So I mean, it's just really simple, practical reminders that.
Amen, brother.
Needs, so
Amen.
yes.
So that's my, and I'll send this information to the captains, but we know we have literally dozens of loyal listeners here that can pass along that information as well. So we can get there starting at 11. First games are at 12. Check the schedule on Play Tourney. There's a post on Instagram too with the initial matches. So please know when your first game is. So show up on time, basically. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
And then the day will go all the way till the last championship game starts at 7:45. So then after the last championship game, we'll have the awards ceremony. Right now we have that scheduled for 8:20 p.m. I'd really like for everyone to stay for the awards ceremony. We used to do it in the middle in the past, and it was just too much. We did it at the end last year. It worked great.
Yeah.
So just stay all the way till the end. We get a big group picture. We can do the awards. That'd be great. So that's the time frame, and then we got to be out of there once that ceremony is over. Clean up, get out. So that is all I got for basic reminders. So I did post something the other night about asking teams' average age. I thought that would make for an interesting discussion.
Okay.
I didn't hear from the Land Sharks.
Yeah.
But there were a few teams that I heard of, some that were quite interesting. Who do you think is I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
What team do you think is the oldest average age?
Wow. Man, that's a good question.
It kind of surprised me, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well, all right. So for those that are watching this, don't get mad at me. I'm just purely just going off the cuff.
That's the reason why I asked Giles.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I'm the guinea pig here.
Yeah.
So I think the oldest team by average age
Yep.
would have to be the Slip Discs.
Okay, so I did not hear from them, but I think you could be right
Okay.
because I'm not going to say why, but that's just a guess. I have
Yeah.
just looking, observing.
Right.
But I'd love to hear from them if they know. Comment below what your team average age is, because other than them, I believe the oldest team by average age is the Swarm.
I knew it. That's what I was gonna say.
Really?
That kind of shocked me. 32.4.
That's my age.
Well, I mean, it's an average. Not
Well,
every
yeah, but I
team.
mean, I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Eh?
I mean, Land Sharks, I don't think so because you guys have quite a few young 20s, late teens. So
Well-
it drags down the average pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, it does. And I was just gonna say, like, obviously outside of like Harold Fair and Leroy Merrill, and like, and again,
We love
like,
you.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
But outside of those two, I mean, I know
Yeah.
there's either me and everybody else that's younger
Yeah.
than me. So
So Discombobulators 2,
Mhm.
32.
okay,
So right around the same as a Swarm.
yep,
Wicked High Mileage 30, average age of 30. So I
Okay.
mean, you said Wicked High Mileage, but they're not even the oldest team. Come on, you can't. Yeah. We could just call it High Mileage, maybe not Wicked High Mileage.
yeah. But we live in Maine, so you guys know how that is.
They're not
Wicked.
even Mainers. Oh, we
Yeah.
love.
Wicked good pop.
So then we got this is an interesting one. Young and the Rest of Us
Yeah.
was 27 is their average age, but no one on the team is in their 20s or 30s.
That's interesting.
So they have either above 40
Yeah.
or younger than 20, and it all comes out to 27. Windchill, obviously one of the youngest teams, 18,
Yeah.
average age of 18.
Not surprised.
Not surprised at all. But that's why I tell them, like, give it 2 or 3 more years. You're going to be beating us like, Frisbees is beating us now. Like, they're very young, but they're already, very good.
Yeah. And like before you continue, I
Yeah.
will say that, I mean, even though I'm not teammates with them, I know Luke Paradis and Ethan Small are going to be absolutely dynamic because
Oh, yeah.
they're like the dynamic duo that you guys want to have on your team. So
Mhm.
no question
Yeah.
about that.
So I think they might be the youngest. Kyle's team might be very young too.
Yeah, kind of.
And then up in the air, 29. I think similar to Young and the Rest of Us. Very
Okay.
young and then older.
Yeah.
And then no discussion, 22.8. Lag, High Flyers, all early 20s. I'm fairly certain. So, but that did. It was a little sobering to think that the Swarm could be the oldest.
yeah, it is a little sobering.
Yeah.
A little sobering.
Yeah. Anyways.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you think about it too, like the Frisbees, and you guys have played together for a long time in the tournaments in the past, so
Yeah.
not really much different.
Time waits for no one.
It does not.
Yeah. So, if you know your team's age and it's higher than 32.4 and you want to take the throne as the oldest team, please let us know. But that's all I got. Final thoughts?
No, I mean, I could relay a little bit of a history thing about the Airbenders if you want me to. If you don't,
Why do you think we had you on? This is why we have you for
Okay.
stuff like this. For Giles brings a unique perspective. Let's hear it. History
All
of the Airbenders.
okay. So, let me think back to when we first started. So, the actual tournament itself, even though this is year 5, I think it started back like the first day of 2018.
Yeah, well, we had COVID in between, so
Right. Well, but yeah, we'll get to that.
forget
in a
about
second.
COVID. Oh, okay. Sorry.
We'll get to that in a second. Because I remember back in 2018, and I don't know if many people will remember this, but the team that I was on at that time was called Despicable Me. If
I do
that's-
remember that.
Yes. So that was a team that was captained by Kobe Sargent.
Yep.
And it was a team that was kind of like a mishmash of players that had athletic ability, but I don't think
Did okay.
well, yeah, we did okay. We did great. I mean, we made it to the playoffs and we lost in overtime to the Frisbees. But I just remember it was a mishmash of good players, and then we succeeded, even though none of us really had a whole lot of experience playing ultimate frisbee.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't until later in 2018 that I told you that I wanted to be a team captain for a team, and so. So I didn't really know who else to go to because I wasn't sure who would be interested, who wanted to be on my team, and who would like to play. So I had this man to my left help me out with that, where he gave me basically said like, all right, here's a team. You guys are going to be named the free agents. So I
Came
was
up with
just
it
like,
on my own.
Yep.
Free agents.
like, yeah. So I was just like, all right, I'll take it on. Like, I didn't really know where else to go, so took that on, and then
Got you guys some jerseys.
that is true. I'm like, and I still have the original jersey that you gave
That
us.
might be worth something someday.
It might. I mean, it's just a generic like light blue, white stripe
Yeah.
jersey like you'd see in the soccer game. But, so.
So then let's go. Let's climb to the top. Let's hear it.
All right. So our first tournament that we played together was the first year in 2018, and to everybody's surprise, we actually started out really, really good because we went 2-0 in our first 2 games. Then we lost our last one, so we went 2-1, and then we lost in the playoffs to some team. I forget who it was, and then we lost another game in the consolation bracket. And then the next year after, in 2019, I felt like with the potential of the team that we had, I felt like it was time for a name change. So instead of free agents, I put it up to a vote to the majority of the team that wanted to name the team whatever they wanted. And the majority voted on Airbenders. So that's where the name came from. And in 2019, we went 3-1 in our division. And then we won the Southern Division the second year because we went into overtime against the team that was called the Red Shirts at the time, which anyone that's ever watched Star Trek, you know that red shirts usually die. Just a nerd fact.
You're just throwing out spoilers left and right.
Yeah. But we played them in overtime, and I never forgot that Oakley had the frisbee, threw it to Owen in the end zone, caught it for the game winner, and we were Southern Division champions as soon as that score happened. And that was like the best game that I played in until 2019. And then I'm like, no, actually, I'm like, that was the best game that
You
we
mean
played
2022?
in. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Last year.
Well, yeah. So it was just last year. So going into the tournament again for the first time since before COVID, we succeeded again. We had a different uniform, same team name, and we succeeded again. We went 3-3 with the prelims and the tournament games themselves. And the last game that we played in was against the Ice Discs, which, according to you, that was like the best game of the day.
For sure.
Because we fell behind the Ice Discs like 3-0, and then we came back and tied it. And then it was just a back and forth kind of game. And then I remember with 1:30 left, we had one player on the Ice Discs throw it in the end zone, went incomplete, and Ethan Small went to the end line with a frisbee, threw a deep pass to Oakley, who was wide open, and then Oakley caught it, waited a couple seconds, threw it to Owen in the end zone, wide open. We got the go-ahead score, and we won it 8-7 after Lou Paradis came up with a key block to end the game. So,
Which, this is all well chronicled.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But I'm glad you told that because it shows that, if you stick together as a team and you keep coming back year after year, you gel together and you can have that accomplishment, or you, whatever, so I'm really glad to see a lot of returning teams this year.
Yeah, I am
and
too.
building momentum. And we'll see what happens because
Yes,
I think there's a lot of teams that maybe they finished in a certain spot last year and they've got that feeling, okay, I know we can do better this year, just like the Airbenders did.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely.
Your loyal comrade,
Yes.
good supporter of the classic.
Yeah.
All right. We're out of here. See you guys this weekend.
All right. See you guys.